Good day, mates. Welcome back to Unpopular Aussie Opinions, where we dive headfirst into the gritty underbelly of Australian sports, the stuff that gets whispered in the stands but rarely shouted from the rooftops. I'm your host, the bloke who's not afraid to call a spade a bloody shovel when it comes to the NRL, the AFL, cricket, or whatever else has the nation glued to their tellies on a Sunday arvo. Today, we are tackling something that's been bubbling up in the footy forums and the backblocks of social media like a pot left too long on the boil. The heartbreaking rumour that Reese Walsh, our golden boy fullback for the Brisbane Broncos, has been left shattered because his young daughter Layla has been diagnosed with cancer. Now, hold your horses right there. Before you reach for the tissues or start firing off prayers into the ether, let's get one thing crystal clear from the jump. This is all rumour. Pure, unadulterated, keyboard warrior-fueled speculation that's spreading faster than a nor'wester across the outback. And in the cutthroat world of Aussie sports, where heroes are built up on Monday and torn down by Wednesday, rumours like this aren't just harmless chit-chat, they're a bloody menace. They prey on our soft spots, twist the knife into real pain, and leave families like the Walsh picking up the pieces of their privacy. So, why does this one sting so much? And why, in my unpopular opinion, should we all be calling foul on the rumour mill before it chews up another innocent life? Strap in, because we are unpacking this one layer by layer, with no sugarcoating and no mercy for the gossips. First off, let's set the scene for those who might have been living under a rock, or perhaps just binge-watching the replay of that epic 2025 NRL Grand Final where the Broncos finally broke their drought after 19 long years. Reese Walsh isn't just a player, he's a phenomenon. At just 23 years old, this kid from the Gold Coast has the world at his feet. Born on the 10th of July, 2002, he burst onto the scene with the New Zealand Warriors back in 2021, but it was his return to Brisbane in 2023 that turned him into a household name. Why the move? Well, that's where his heart was, closer to his family, especially his little girl, Layla, who he welcomed into the world when he was barely out of his teens. Fatherhood at 18? That's not a storyline from a footy fairy tale. That's real life, raw and unfiltered, the kind that forges legends out of lads. Walsh's story is the stuff of Aussie dreams. In it, overcame a tough upbringing, his dad Rodney raising him and his sibling solo after his mum stepped away amid battles with addiction, and channeled that fire into footy. He paints his nails for Layla, you know? Not some trendy fad, but a dad's quiet promise to his daughter, letting her turn his hands into a canvas of colour before he steps out onto Suncorp Stadium. Remember that grand final moment? The one where he scooped her up on the podium, slipped that premiership ring onto her tiny finger, and the whole nation melted? That's Reese Walsh, the bloke who scores tries that defy physics, dodges tackles like he's got 9 lives, and still makes time to be the dad his kid deserves. He's the Clive Churchill medalist of 2025, the Maroons fullback who shut down the Blues in Origin, and yeah, the guy whose ex, Frida Puru, co-parents with Grace despite the split. Heartwarming? Bloody oath. But it's exactly that vulnerability, the glimpses of a young family navigating fame, that makes him a target for the trolls. And enter the rumour. Whispers that Layla, that bright-eyed 4-year-old we've seen cheering from the sidelines with a Broncos jersey dwarfing her frame, has been hit with a cancer diagnosis. Reese, they say, is heartbroken, training through tears, maybe even questioning his future on the field. It's the kind of story that tugs at every fair dinkum footy fan's heartstrings. We've seen it before, players like Rob Burrow or Stephen Darby opening up about their own battles, turning personal hell into public inspiration. So when a snippet like this hits the group chats, it spreads like wildfire. One anonymous post on a forum claims a source close to the club spilled the beans. Another reckons they overheard it at a training session. By tea time, it's trending under hashtag #PrayForLayla, with well-meaning mates sharing prayers and petitions faster than you can say round one. But here's my first unpopular opinion, and I'll shout it from the rooftops. In the age of TikTok testimonials and Twitter threads, we are all amateur detectives now, but most of us couldn't solve a Sudoku, let alone discern fact from fiction. This rumour? It's got all the hallmarks of a classic hoax. No official word from Walsh, the Broncos, or Frida. No medical alerts, no charity drives, no teary presses, the gold standard for when a family chooses to go public. Instead, what we have is a void, filled by the fevered imaginations of folks who've watched one too many episodes of Underbelly and think every silence is a smoking gun. I mean, come on, if this were real, with Reese's profile, it'd be front-page fodder from the Herald Sun to the Courier Mail, not lurking in the dank corners of Reddit's or NRL. We've scoured the lot. Daily Mail's got heartwarmers about family reunions post-grand final, Wikipedia's tallying his origin caps, and even the Broncos' own site is all try-scorers and tattoo tributes. Zilch on cancer. Nada. It's rumour, full stop, and chasing it does more harm than a high tackle. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to play the villain, accusing every sharer of malice. Aussies are a compassionate mob. We rally for our own like no one else. Remember the floods in 21, or the bushfires that turned the sky to ash? We dig deep, we donate, we wear the ribbons. But that's precisely why this irks me. Rumours like this weaponize our empathy. They turn a family's private joy, like Walsh and Layla's nail painting rituals or those pitchside cuddles, into public property. Imagine you're Frida, juggling single mum duties while the world's second-guessing your every Instagram post. Or Rodney, who's already bared his soul about raising Reese through the tough times, only to see his grandkid dragged into the spotlight for a lie. It's invasive, it's cruel, and in sports where mental health is finally getting the airtime it deserves, it's downright dangerous. Players like Walsh aren't invincible. They're human, with off days and heartaches we never see. Piling on fabricated grief? That's not support, that's sabotage. Let's zoom out a bit, because this isn't just about one rumour. It's symptomatic of a bigger rot in our sports culture. Take the NRL, a league that's grown from backyard scraps to a billion-dollar beast, but one where the off-field noise often drowns out the on-field magic. We've got journos hounding players for soundbites on everything from diet to divorce, podcasters dissecting family photos like their game tape, and fans, us lot, who've got front row seats via Instagram Lives. It's brilliant for connection, sure, but it breeds this entitlement, this belief that because we buy the merch, we own the story. And when it comes to kids, that's where I draw the line, hard as a Steve Rogers boot to the ribs. Layla's 4. She's not a prop in the narrative. She's a kid who deserves to chase butterflies and finger paint without the weight of a nation's speculation. My second unpopular take. The footy world's obsession with personal drama is killing the game we love. Remember the Latrell Mitchell saga? Or the Daly Cherry Evans contract flip-flops? Every hiccup becomes headline fodder. Every family photo a Freudian feast. And for what? Clicks. Controversy. In Reese's case, his delivered premiership glory silenced doubters who called him a Warriors reject, and shown that a young dad can be a superstar without selling his soul. Yet here we are, peddling fairy tales of tragedy because, why? Boredom. Jealousy of his highlight real life? It's bollocks. If Walsh wants to share, about joys or sorrows, he'll do it on his terms, like he did when he spoke of moving home for Layla. Until then, our job as fans isn't to fill the gaps. It's to cheer the tries, not the tears we invent. But all right, let's flip the script for a tick. What if I'm wrong? What if there's a kernel of truth buried under the bullshit? Fair call. Rumours don't spawn from thin air. Maybe a misinterpreted hospital visit, kids get sick, fevers flare, and in the panic of parenting, wires cross. Or perhaps it's the echo of Walsh's own family history, that raw account from Rodney about addiction's long shadow, morphing into something sinister in the retelling. Cancer's a beast that touches too many Aussie homes. 1 in 2 of us will face it, per the stats from Cancer Council. So when whispers hit, they resonate, pulling on collective scars. But even then, verification matters. We've got tools now, fact-checkers, club statements, the lot. Use them. Don't amplify. Investigate. And if it's real, then we support properly. Donations to verified causes, respect for privacy, space for healing. Not this scattershot sympathy that fizzles when the truth outs. Speaking of support, let's talk what we can do right now. First, hit pause on the shares. That group chat ping? Let it die. Second, celebrate the real Reese, the one who lit up the grand final with a brace of tries, who mentors the young guns at the Broncos Academy, who proves that footy's not just about the grind but the grace. Third, let's push for better boundaries in sports media. Imagine a code where family stays sacred unless invited in. No more sources say ambushes, no more kidcam zooms. It's a pipe dream, maybe, but hey, that's why this channel exists, to voice the unpopular, to nudge the needle. Wrapping this up, mates, because I've ranted long enough, and you've got barbecues to fire or beers to crack, the Reese Walsh daughter cancer rumour is, as you rightly clocked, all smoke. No fire, no evidence, just the ugly side of our passion for the game showing its teeth. It breaks my heart not because it's true, but because it reminds us how fragile fame is, how precious privacy remains. So here's to Reese, to Layla's giggles echoing over the sidelines, to a Broncos dynasty rebuilt on more than miracles. Keep it real out there, keep it kind, and remember, in Aussie sports, the best opinions are the ones that lift us up, not tear us down. If you agree, or reckon I'm off the mark, drop a comment below. Smash that like if your team rumours can rack off. Subscribe for more no-holds-barred takes, and I'll catch you next time. Fair dinkum cheers, and go the Broncos. Or not, your call. Stay.